Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Six Gun Tarot by R.S. Belcher. So basically, the Six Gun Tarot is about a town named Golgotha, and it follows a bunch of different characters in this town as some dark things are starting to happen and unfold, and it's really just about how all of these characters are dealing with these things that are starting to happen and dealing a lot with the past of all of the characters, because there are some bad things that have happened in most of the characters' lives. As usual, I'm just going to go through my pros and cons list, and then I'm going to tell you some neutrals that you might want to know before going into the novel, and then I will give you my rating. The first pro is that this book is just incredibly unique. It's a Western steampunk fantasy that's set in the 1800s, and yeah, I've just never read a book that is like that, and I haven't read too many Westerns, so it's definitely unique to me. But if you are familiar with Westerns, I don't think this is gonna be like anything that you've read. I think another thing that it has is an incredible amount of diversity. They have people from different religions, Christian, they have some Chinese religions, they have Native American religions, they just have a bunch of different religions in this town, and they have a bunch of different characters from different backgrounds. There's a rich well-off woman, there is a runaway kid, there is a half-breed Native American who is kind of a half coyote, and then they have this sheriff who doesn't seem to ever be able to die, and he's been hung 3 times, but each time the rope snaps and he never ends up getting killed. They just have a lot of different characters in this book that have a lot of different things going on, and so there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 characters that you really like. And it brings up a lot of topics and issues and things like what makes a person alive, at what point is someone actually dead or not. So yeah, I really liked some of the things and topics that it brought up. And lastly, the writing itself is really good. I really enjoyed reading the novel. The prose is just very solid and enjoyable to read. Now on to some of the cons. So there are a ton of characters in this, and you get a bunch of POVs. You get POVs from like every single character, and for me that didn't really work because I want to, learn a lot about certain characters. It seemed like we got some information about a lot of people, where I would rather have a lot of information about fewer people. This book kind of bit more than it could chew for me. I think that it brought up a lot of topics and then didn't really deal with a lot of them, and then a lot of the characters, I just didn't feel connected with them. I didn't really care so much about how they were feeling or what was going to happen with them. They were there and I was reading their story and it was fun, but I wasn't connected to them and I didn't feel for them. Also with the characters, they're all troubled. They all have something crazy that has happened to them in the past and they have to deal with it, or something is crazy happening to them now. And it's kind of one of those things where if everything is special, then nothing is. And so because everyone in this town has a weird fantasy thing going on with them, it didn't seem like anyone was unique, and it didn't seem as though like it should be that big of a deal because they all have stuff, like they were just very all over the place. I would have liked to seen a character who was just a normal person, or just a normal being without all of these crazy messed up things in their life. I would have liked to see how they dealt with the situation going on in Golgotha, but they didn't really have that. So I'm not sure in the future books if they will bring characters that are more normal into the story to like kind of give you a polarization, like kind of give you that big contrast to make these characters seem like they are just super shit out of luck. And lastly, I felt like some things were a little bit forced. For example, sometimes when there was some racism in there, I just didn't feel like it came naturally. Like those characters, it just didn't seem, I don't know, to flow really well with the story, and that's just a totally nitpicky personal thing, but yeah, there's that. So on to some neutrals that you might want to know if you're thinking about going into this novel. The first one is that there's a weird religion aspect. There are a bunch of religions, but it's kind of mainly focused on the Christian religion, and there's some weird elements of the religion in here. So I don't know if Christianity being in a book is going to bother you, so it's in here, just fair warning. The book is also very slow moving. It's only like 350 pages, and it took me 2 full weeks to read it. Like I read it every day, and I could only read so much of it a day, and there was a threshold, and once I met that threshold I just couldn't read anymore, so I would put the book down. So yeah, it's definitely a slower read, and I didn't fly through it or anything. Also, the title of the book doesn't really have anything to do with the book. Six Gun Tarot, like tarot cards, all the chapters are named different tarot cards, but there's not a character or anything that has to do with tarot cards, so I don't really know why it's called that. It doesn't really have a reason that I know of. So if you're expecting some like witchcraft or anything like that, that's not in here. And the last thing that you might want to know is that one of the main characters is homosexual, and he's having to deal with his homosexuality, and he is questioning himself morally. So if you're not interested in reading anything about a character who is gay and is dealing with all the consequences of that in this time period, then I would not suggest picking this book up, because he is really one of the main characters and he's one of the points of view that you get the most. So yeah, if you're not interested in that, I would not suggest this book for you. So overall, I gave the Six Gun Tarot a 3 stars out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but I had a fair number of problems with it. But I definitely will be continuing along with the series. I'm not sure when I'll pick up the second book, because I have a lot of other books that are just, you know, higher prioritized. But I did enjoy it, and I would recommend it for people that like Western steampunk fantasies. So that's my review on the Six Gun Tarot. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up, and comment down below if you are interested in this book, or if you've read it, what you thought about it, and we can have a discussion in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!